And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. We're here in Fayetteville, North Carolina for the Chosen Pen Literary Awards, as well as the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Honors that are taking place today. I'm joined by two very special guests that are here this weekend. We've been having some great times already. Here next to me, we have Penda James joining us, as well as we have Dr. James A. Anderson as well. I want to talk to them not only about their own literary journeys, but also let you guys know how to stay connected with them. We're going to go ahead and connect with our friends joining us on Amazon, as well as us tuning in on Instagram as well. And we are live now on Amazon Live. You all will see the books by our next guest today. As I was just mentioned, we have Penda James here with us and Dr. James A. Anderson. I want to talk to them not only about their literary journeys, but also what it's been like for them to share stories with the world and also to see the response. We are here in Fayetteville, North Carolina today. Again, thanks to Chosen Pen Publishing. Excited about that. But thanks to the two of you for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, we welcome those also joining us on the simulcast. So if you guys are on the Amazon side, you will see the books by our guest that's joining us today. For those joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, you'll find a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon. For those joining us on Instagram, we'll put it in our stories for you guys. If you have any questions or comments for the guests, put those in. Hello to you, Kate Thurman. I see you over there from Atlanta on already joining us from Instagram. Also, Jada, hello to you. Mr. Vape, hello to you as well. So I want to start with you, Dr. Anderson. You and I had a great conversation on Conversations Live, the radio show, about your book and your story. What has it been like for you to see how people are responding to a very personal journey that you've been on?
Well, having been in academia all my life, and I've only worked at 6-7 universities, people are amazed. That's the word they use more than anything. Amazed to hear this side of my life, that I came through so much hardship, parentless, homeless, etc., to become a college president. And so their amazement, I think, is the thing that stuck with me more than anything.
Love that. And what about for you, Penda? You and I are just meeting today
Yes.
for the first time. What has it been like for you to see how something that you have written has been able to resonate with readers? And while you're talking, I'm going to go ahead and highlight your book on Amazon, Remember Your Strength as well. But what has that journey been like for you?
It is a very humbling experience for me when people come back and say, oh, I read Remember Your Strength, and they're sobbing or they're crying, because my whole purpose is to encourage people to write their own stories, using myself as an example. It's just a humbling thing. My words did that for you.
So I want to talk about, for you then, Dr. Anderson, you mentioned when people are amazed at hearing this part of your life that they did not know. Because I think a lot of times people see us where we are now.
Yes.
And they don't think about the journey of what we've gotten to. Was it an easy thing for you to decide to share that with them?
It was difficult in sharing it because I had to reminisce and call forth memories that I wanted to let go in order to do the book and complete the book. And that was the most difficult aspect. The second most difficult aspect was when you write about a 5-year-old and how a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old thinks and speaks. It's hard to go back and do that and put it in the language of a 5-year-old. So that was the most difficult part. But I received good feedback from people. I just haven't chosen to use social media as a platform yet. And I know I need to do that to get the message out further.
Well, for those that are just finding out about Dr. Anderson's book, is the Miracle on Corcoran Street. For you guys joining us on Amazon, I have it highlighted for you guys. You can get it there, as you can see, for $19.99, or the Kindle edition is 50% off for $9.99. Again, if you're not joining us on Amazon, you can find the link that'll bring you over as well. The book we were talking about with Penda, Remember Your Strength, is $19.95 as well there on Amazon. Penda, I want to ask you, speaking of that, has it settled with you that you have books available on Amazon for people around the world to read?
No, it's amazing to me that this journey has been, it's opened up the door for me to meet people all over the world. I'm grateful for that. And I'm like, these people are reading my story. Yeah.
What about for you, Dr. Anderson? You're no stranger to the public eye, but have you gotten used to the idea that you're now the subject of attention when it comes to this book?
Yes. And not only am I the subject of attention, but I'm the subject of attention for a different reason.
Mhm.
So, for example, when I did the book on the unfinished agenda of Brown versus Board of Education, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Brown, the focus was on Brown versus Board of Education and that Supreme Court decision. But it wasn't about me. So it's different now when you write a memoir and it's about you and your experiences, positive and negative.
Yep.
And that was the biggest change for me.
I want to talk to both of you about appreciating what got you here, right? Because people will look at the two of you now and see people who have done something in the world. Have you been able to appreciate, Dr. Anderson, the journey that got you here that you're able to chronicle in the book?
Oh, more so than anything. And the two groups that saved me, that protected me, educated me, loved me, were Black Catholic nuns at St. Augustine's Elementary School and the Black prostitutes in the neighborhood. Were not for those two groups, I wouldn't even be sitting here. I'd probably be in prison or juvenile detention center, which I had been to when I was younger, etc. So I have so much appreciation for those individuals in my life who are all primarily Black women who uplifted me, protected me, as I said, loved me, forgave me for all my bad ways that I developed when I was young. And to see the end result, I was one of the earliest Black PhDs at Cornell University, and then to go on to become a chancellor, that's a tremendous leap in life.
What about for yourself, Penda? Have you been able to appreciate the journey that's gotten you here, the good and the bad, as Dr. Anderson was just talking about?
Absolutely, Cyrus. I started writing Remember Your Strength after my father passed. He passed the day after my birthday, and it was a 6-year period after my mother had passed. So writing this book was literally me remembering my strength and remembering where I came from, what I believe, why I believe it. And when I was depleted, pulling on all of those things that they poured into me, my grandparents, what they poured into me. And now that's a message that I'm trying to teach other people. That when it gets tough, remember your strength.
Yeah. Love that. I want to talk about the reason why we're even here, that we get to meet. But I want to reset really quickly for those who are just tuning in. Welcome. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We're joining you guys from Fayetteville, North Carolina. My first time to Fayetteville. I'm joined by these two great individuals. We're in town, though, because of what Chosen Pen Publishing has done and continues to do, that's culminating into today, that being their literary awards gala that's taking place and the recognition of this year's Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award honorees. You all were a part of the earlier program that was taking place today. And also, Dr. Anderson, I know for you this is personal because Chosen Pen published your book as well.
Yes.
What has it been like for you to be a part of an organization that not only helps people share their story, but empowers them with the tools to share it?
Well, in my earlier conversations with them, I realized I must have a Black publisher. Okay. But if you go online and just simply look up publishers of African-American books and literature, most of those are white. Okay. And I didn't want that. I said it must be an African-American group that's publishing the book, and they will understand the message that I'm trying to portray. They will give me honest feedback, etc. And Chosen Pen has done that. And so I'm blessed to have come across them by accident, really.
Yeah. What about for you, Penda? What has it been like for you to be around Chosen Pen and all the great things they're doing and what they do, like opportunities like today, to empower authors?
When I walked into the room, I automatically had divine connections with people. I felt like there is a community that I've been missing, and I needed to be around other publishers. I am a publisher as well. Being around other publishers and other people who are telling their stories, it invigorates me. It does something to me because we as people of color, we are not recording our stories enough. And I'm sitting here with Dr. Anderson, and I'm learning so much about him, and I value the story that he's telling. And I want to tell other people, go read the book. That's what being in this space has done for me.
Right. And we're telling people to remember your strength too and to get that book too here on the episode as well. So I want to ask you an interesting question. I have not asked anyone else that I've interviewed on this trip, but it's something that I've had to think about for myself. And I'm curious as to the take for you. We hear the word success a lot. Dr. Anderson, I want to ask you, how has your view of success evolved in your life?
My ability to overcome challenges, major challenges, as the book indicates, and my life unfolded in quantum leaps. But one theme throughout the book and one theme throughout my life that's been a challenge has been the fear of abandonment, because it started with my parents leaving me at the hospital and never knowing who they are. I don't know their names. I don't know my real name. And so the challenges that I've been faced with throughout my life has been quantum leaps. And it unfortunately led to my not trusting anyone until I was in my 40s.
Wow.
Yeah, because my first wife abandoned myself and my mentally challenged daughter. And so I ended up raising her by myself for 20 years.
You talked about that for those who may have been a part of our program yesterday. You talked about that yesterday. I didn't know that until yesterday about her passing.
Yes.
And you talked about the impact that has had on you. But I think what I thought about, I wanted to say to you, Dr. Anderson, is that you're going to help other men to better articulate those feelings, because we as men, we don't always talk about how things like that impact us. I think you're going to free so many other people to even not only tell their story, but also to tap into those areas that are uncomfortable that may also help them to build a connection. So I want to thank you for that, for doing that. For you, Penda, what has it been like for you to rethink about success and what that means for you today?
As I've turned 50 this year, my values have changed, especially being parentless. So my success is now no longer as materialistic as it used to be. It's more about the core values of peace and relationships. Like I have my goddaughter here with me, and my daughter's going to college. And so long-lasting relationships, peace and clarity, unity, and building relationships, collaboration. For me, if I'm successful there and I'm in alignment with God, everything around me is going to be successful. I don't care anymore about cars and how, I mean, I do, but that's not what drives me anymore.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So as we wrap up here, and I appreciate the time, and again, for those that are just tuning in, if you're on the Amazon Live platform, you will notice the book by Penda here, Remember Your Strength. We have it highlighted in our carousel. Also, you will see The Miracle on Corcoran Street by Dr. Anderson there. You can be able just to click it there on the screen to be able to get your copy of the book there on Amazon. Again, if you guys are joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube, you'll find a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon. Last question I want to ask you, Dr. Anderson, is advice for people who look at you and that may have said, you know what, I have a story I want to share. What advice would you give them?
I would say to them, first of all, find someone like Chosen Pen and run it by them, what you want to do, what your ideas are, etc. Now, I had completed a manuscript when I met Chosen Pen, so I just simply handed it to them. That's different than someone only having an idea what they want to write. And I talked to Chosen Pen about those individuals in that category, and they said, well, they're much more difficult to work with if you only have an idea. So if you have an idea, at least outline the idea right now and take it to someone who, like yourself, take it to someone who is, well-versed in this area of publishing, and have them look at it and give you some feedback and listen to them. See, I have a PhD from Cornell. I was a chancellor, but I'm humble when it comes to talking to you and Chosen Pen, because that's not my sphere.
Gotcha.
Excellence.
Look, I appreciate that. And I tell people all the time, I know what I know. The things I don't know, I don't know. But that's really the strength. That's our strength, to be able to recognize, because I always tell people, you cut off your ability to learn.
Yeah.
When you don't let that be, no.
Yes.
Penda, what about for you? What advice would you give to our audience out there that maybe they've been thinking about sharing their story? What advice would you give them?
This is a really good question. I always end all of my interviews and everything. Remember your strength so you can write it down. I think it's important when you are saying that you have a story to tell and you want to write it down. Change your language and say, I'm an author. Once you put something on paper or conceptualize an idea in your mind, you shift your mindset and you have to start thinking like an author. Writing it down, recording it on your phone, talking to somebody and leaving a voice message. Those are all ways that you can capture your story. It's in emails, text messages, Facebook posts. Your story is all around you. Just sit down and think about how you can put it all in one place and then give it to somebody who can help you put it together.
Love that.
Yeah.
Again, everyone, Penda L. James, as well as Dr. James A. Anderson, have been our guests, and we didn't even plan that. We just got two Jameses together here, talking with us as we're celebrating Chosen Pen's first annual literary awards gala today. So excited to be here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Excited to be able to sit down with the two of you.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, sure.
Relative to the last question you asked.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Your answer was beautiful because I think about God. You mentioned God as an inspiration. But when this priest, Catholic priest, I was an altar boy. And after Mass one day, this Catholic priest wanted to sexually molest me. And I took it out on God. I just didn't believe God was my savior anymore because he used one of his instruments, a Catholic priest, to do that. And sometimes your inspiration comes from unique things or unique situations.
Yes.
That was one. Last March, the Pope Francis announced that he wanted to create the first Black saint from the United States. There are no Black saints from the U.S. They're from other countries, like St. Augustine. He's probably the most well-known. But he's, from Ethiopia, things like that. So when he made that announcement, I felt more urgency to write the book because the book focuses on this order of nuns on the cover, the Oblate Sisters of Providence, who is one of the only orders of Black nuns I've ever heard of, who really helped save my life. And, but having this announcement, and I saw it on Yahoo, and that became my inspiration to finish the book.
That's amazing. And that's the thing. Hello to you, Lawana Bradford, joining us. I think you're in Atlanta. Lawana travels a lot. So I appreciate you joining us as well. I really appreciate the two of you for being a part of this and sharing. Penda, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
You can connect with me on Facebook, Penda L. James. I'm on Instagram at Penscribed, Penscribed. I'm also on LinkedIn, Penda L. James.
Love it. Dr. Anderson, how can I stay connected with you?
I'm not on social media, but my email address is ja201diversity@gmail.com.
Got it. We're going to work on that social media.
Yeah, please do.
And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. There's more to come from Fayetteville, so make sure you guys are staying tuned. I'm going to do some lives for you guys on social media later on around the awards gala. For you guys joining us on Amazon, I won't be able to bring you guys into that part of our program, but definitely looking forward to chatting with you guys more. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon.
Everybody.